2023 has been a up and down year for iOS updates. While we did have some highs, we've also had some lows. I am going to show you 9 features that Apple released in 2023 that you may want to try. These 9 features will be helpful regardless of your comfort level with iOS. So I am going to rank them in the order from least useful to the most useful features. And I will also leave timestamps in the description in case you want to jump to the feature that you are interested in. So without further ado, let's just get started. Apple Maps has gotten an update with iOS 17 where it's finally catching up to Google Maps in terms of a useful feature, and that is the ability to download offline maps. Now, if you are an iOS user and you feel that the Google Maps app has become cluttered and you're concerned about the ads and anything else, here is how you would download a map for offline usage. What you want to do is you want to open your Maps app, obviously, and you want to press and hold on a section of the map that you want to download. So if I just press and hold here, right next to the Directions tab, you would also see a download button. If you tap on that, then you can adjust the scope of the map you want to download. So you can expand it or you can make it smaller. Once you've found the right size for you, you want to hit download and that map will be downloaded. And in the event that your iPhone does not have any cellular data, then you can use this feature in order to navigate. This is really helpful in cross-country road trips that I've taken where there are areas in the US that had little to no cell service. iOS 17 has also continued the work that iOS 16 had in terms of customizing your iPhone. And one of the standout features in iOS 17 is the ability to have contact posters. With contact posters, whenever you call or FaceTime an individual who also has an Apple product, then they would see your contact photo on their iPhone or their iPad. It's not really useful in the event that you want to communicate with someone who has Android, but if the majority of your friends are in the Apple ecosystem, then you might want to check this feature out. So in order to do this, you need to open Contacts and you want to tap on your name. And right below your name, you will see Contact, Photo, and Poster. You want to tap on that. We'll let this load for a bit. And then you can tap on Edit. So if you tap on Edit, then we can see all of our contact posters. And if you don't have any, you can tap on Create New and you'll be able to customize it. So let's just take this first one for example. If I customize the contact photo, I can do that. But if I want to customize the poster, I can just tap on the poster and I can change the font, I can change the background color, and I can even change the depth effect. So pretty useful if your social circle uses iOS devices. iOS 17 also enhanced Siri, giving her some useful functionality. And one of those key features is the ability to have Siri read websites to you. So this is going to be useful in the event that you are commuting to work or you're going somewhere, it doesn't matter where you're going, but if you have an article that you want to read, but you can't because you're driving, then you can have Siri read that website for you. To enable this feature, you want to open Safari and you want to navigate to any website that pretty much has articles. So I have the Wall Street Journal up, and if you tap on the 2 A's, then you would see Listen to Page. If you tap on that, then Siri will actually read that page and you will be able to stop it. You will be able to continue if you paused it, but it's pretty useful in the event that you want to read an article, but for some reason you are unable to. One of the most memed features in iOS 17 is name drop. In case you don't know, name drop is when you bring two iPhones close together and you'll be able to exchange contact information, something that Android phones have done for the past decade and a half at this point. This feature is actually misunderstood by a larger portion of the general population. Lately, there have been articles that have been spread by news reports and even local police departments about the security vulnerability of name drop. What these reports stated is that if someone was to walk close to you, then they'll be able to get your contact information, assuming that person knows you have an iPhone and you walk really close to that person. So you can actually see the flaw in these reports. The thing that reports do not mention is that your phone has to be unlocked, and when your phones are close together, you have to actually confirm that you want to send this information. The most useful use case for this is, let's just say you are at a networking event. You don't have any business cards because either you forgot them or you ran out. You can use your iPhone as a business card, essentially, and exchange that information with other individuals. So this is a pretty useful feature, also a pretty misunderstood feature as well. One thing that Apple devices tend to focus mostly on is security. And that is the key part of this next feature. So iMessage contact verification is a feature where you can have your phone verify that the person you are communicating with is the actual person. This would be useful in the event that you are, let's just say, like a politician, a CEO, or someone who has a lot of sensitive information who may be the target of any type of attack. In order to use this feature, you want to open Settings, you want to tap on the search bar, and you can type in Contact Key Verification. You tap on that, and here is where you will see this toggle. If you enable this, then you are doing one step further to protect yourself. This only works for iPhone to iPhone or iPhone to iPad or iPad to iPad conversations. It does not work with any Apple device to Android, unfortunately, unless you're using Beeper Mini, but that is another can of worms I really don't want to open up, because it doesn't seem likely that Beeper Mini is going to make it in 2024. The Reminders app also got a key update in iOS 17 that not a lot of people know about. I've covered this in a previous video, but with Reminders, you can now actually create a grocery list. And while that doesn't sound all too exciting, it is helpful in the event that you don't want to use your Notes app. The Reminder app is actually helpful. In order to do this, you want to open the Reminders app, you want to tap on Add List, and you want to name your list. So we'll name it groceries. And the most important part is under list type, you want to make sure you select groceries. This is really important. So if you select groceries, you hit done. And now if we tap on new item, we can actually add to our grocery list. So I am a big fan of kale. So we'll just hit done. And you can see here that it actually categorized kale under produce. So if we do eggs, and then with eggs, it categorizes it under dairy, eggs, and cheese. So it's pretty useful in the case that if you have a long grocery list with different types of items, then you can actually make it a lot more organized. Another useful enhancement to Safari in iOS 17 is the ability to hide your private browsing behind Face ID or Touch ID, depending on your device. I shouldn't really have to tell you why this is useful, but let's just keep our minds out of the gutter. In case you have a spouse who you share your phone with, and maybe you are trying to surprise her with a gift for your anniversary or birthday or whatever, you can actually hide that browsing history behind Touch ID or Face ID. And as long as she doesn't have her biometrics saved on your phone, then that Safari page will always be protected and you can surprise her when the time comes. To enable this, you want to open Settings, you want to tap on Safari, and just swipe down towards the bottom, and you would see Require Face ID to unlock private browsing. So if you turn that on, the next time you turn on private browsing, and let's just say you leave the app or you kill Safari and then you relaunch it, then you would see the Face ID prompt, which will protect your browsing history and all of your dirty secrets. I am always a big advocate for privacy-oriented features. And this next tip is actually going to be one of the most useful tips to come from this video. As you may have known, apps have access to a lot of data if we provide them that access. But with iOS 17, now apps that actually want to access your calendar or your photos, they have an additional feature that will actually allow you to either reject their request for access or actually allow their request for access. To see this, you want to open Settings, you want to tap on Privacy and Security, and you want to tap on, let's just say, Calendar. With Calendar, you can actually see the full access, which has all of the list of calendar events and events for the next year. And here you can see the list of your apps. So it's very similar to the permissions for location services, but with the calendar's permission, if you tap on any of the listed apps, then you can adjust the calendar access. So with American, for example, I have allowed it to only add events to my calendar rather than having access to my entire calendar and events that would have nothing to do with me traveling. Now, before we get into number one, if you've made it this far, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Without further ado, let's jump into the most useful feature that Apple has released in 2023. Advanced data protection is one of the features that I would highly recommend anyone that uses iCloud to enable. What this does is that it actually protects all of the data that you have on iCloud, so it's encrypted, and it's encrypted to the point that not even Apple will be able to decrypt it and share that information, let's just say, with law enforcement. While I'm pretty sure that the majority of people will not be in that type of situation, it's always good to have an extra level of security when it comes to your data and your personal information. To enable this feature, you want to open Settings, you want to tap on your name, and then you want to tap on iCloud. In the iCloud page, you want to scroll towards the bottom and you will see Advanced Data Protection. Here, it will give you a list of all of the apps that are included with Advanced Data Protection. And as you can see, there are a lot of useful things that are protected. So like your messages, like your iCloud drive, your photos, your reminders, even your wallet passes as well. Because Apple doesn't have the keys to this, they cannot decrypt it. So what you could do in the event that you enable it, you can tap on Account Recovery and you can add a recovery contact. So in the event that you, for some reason, get locked out of iCloud and you want to regain access, you can use your contact that you designated in order to help you get that access back. So I highly recommend this feature, even if you're not doing any illegal shenanigans. Those are the top 9 features that Apple has released in 2023. 2024 is right around the corner, and there is one useful feature that I will save for a future video, but I believe that everyone will love this feature once it's released. If you made it this far, do all of the YouTube things. Thank you all for watching. It's really helpful for the channel. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Take care.